Hi, everybody. This is Mark Stirneman, Vice President of NetLaw, and I appreciate everyone taking time out of their busy day to join us for this webinar. This is a webinar series that I'm going to do for the next 5 weeks, where I bring in agents who will talk about how NetLaw has helped them become as successful as they are today. I came up with this idea because, as many of you know, I am the Director of Customer Service here as well. And every day, when we hear calls, we take calls and we explain what NetLaw is to agents, it's always great to hear it and hear the advantages of why you put NetLaw into your portfolio to introduce to your clients. But I came up with the idea, I think, as we talk about it, and we're so proud of this product because we work here, we put our heart and soul into this. But I thought it would be really advantageous to hear from your peers, people who are out on the streets, people who are professional sales agents, who go out and introduce this product to their clients every day. And so first, I went right to Virginia. She is a great friend of mine. She is very, very successful. She has a lot of agents under her team, and she is very well respected in the industry. So I went to her first, and happily she agreed. So we'll hear from her in about 5 minutes, but I did want to kind of introduce NetLaw. If you're new to NetLaw, you're a new agent, or maybe, you're just coming back, you saw the advertisement for this webinar and said, you know what, I need to go back in. Let me reintroduce you to what NetLaw is. So let's get started. So what is NetLaw? NetLaw is a online estate planning tool that you can introduce estate planning to your clients. And the way NetLaw was created, we were created out of a law office in Louisville, Kentucky called Hargrove Madden. And what Hargrove Madden does is, well, it's just the Hargrove firm now. Mr. Madden has left. But what we do at the law office is we serve wealth clients. And, you need a lot of money to come in and create your estate planning documents with one of our attorneys. And that's great. If you can afford that, going to see an attorney is always the best option. But, especially with millennials or people who, just, don't want to spend a lot of time at an attorney's office and spending that fee, we created NetLaw. So NetLaw is an online template. It's a DIY product that was created by attorneys in all 50 states. So what we did is we went to attorneys in all 50 states and said, we need a template that when a client goes through the NetLaw plan, they're going to receive the same documents if they came into this estate planning office. They're going to get state-specific legal documents at the end. They print them out, they get them witnessed and notarized, and they have their legal documents ready. That software actually won the James Keene Award from the American Bar Association. And as of today, we are the only ones in estate planning that's ever won this award. So you can think about all the competitors that are out there, and they haven't won this award. But luckily, we were honored enough to win this award based on what I believe is our main function. A lot of other companies, they deal in a lot of other stuff. You can set up a nonprofit, you can set up an LLC or an INC. You can do a lot of things through like LegalZoom, LegalShield. We've all heard of these companies. But what really separates NetLaw from everyone else is we only focus on estate planning. And this is our most popular product. It's our $600 premium probate avoidance package. And as you can see, you get all of the documents listed: the will, the children's trust, the power of attorney, the 3 healthcare documents, the pet trust, and of course the big one, the revocable living trust, which is probate avoidance, hence the name Premium Probate Avoidance Package. So if you came into our Louisville, Kentucky law office and decided to go with this package from one of our attorneys, it would cost you anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000, depending on which attorney you speak to. That's a lot of money. But with the NetLaw program, you get everything for $600. Why is it so inexpensive? We've already paid the attorneys, right? They've already done the work. They've already created the templates. They've made sure that you're getting state-specific legal documents. So that is just a major reason of why you want to put this into your products, because a lot of people know about the 6 steps to financial wellness, right? And the 6th step is estate planning, right? Making sure that the next generation gets your stuff. That's what we do here. So let's go through this real quick, and then I'll bring Virginia on because I know she's happy to talk to everyone today. So the will, you know, a lot of people go, I don't know how to talk about estate planning. I feel uncomfortable talking about it because I'm not an attorney. You don't have to be an attorney. We've sold thousands and thousands of plans by people who are not attorneys. But just having a basic understanding of what each of the documents does will really prepare you for when you sit down with your clients. Let's talk about the will, right? The will, there's 3 reasons why we do a will. 1, you're going to name an executor. And this is what you tell your clients. 3 reasons. 1, executor. Who's going to take care of stuff when you pass away? Who's going to be in charge of handling everything? That's the role of your executor. The 2nd, guardianship of minor children. If you don't name someone that's going to have custody of your kids, if you and your spouse pass away, the court system will come in and decide who's going to have custody of your kids. A major reason, if you have clients who have children under the age of 18, it's the #1 thing you want to talk about. And then the 3rd reason we do a will is specific bequest, right? Listing all of our assets down and who's going to receive them. Again, if we don't list these out, there's a rule called intestate, and that just means you passed away without a will. And then again, the court system comes in and decides who gets what. And there's an intestate law for each state. So to make sure that we name someone who's going to be in charge, we're going to name someone who's going to have custody of our kids, and where our assets are going to go. Who's going to receive them? That's why we do a will. Children's trust follows right along with that. As far as the guardianship, you can name certain ages and certain percentages of a children's inheritance that they receive inside the children's trust. So if you don't want your child to receive their full inheritance at age 18, they don't have to. You can list the age group and the amount that they receive inside a children's trust. 3rd item here, financial power of attorney, right? We all know what that is. That's our POA. Who's going to take care of our financial decisions if we're unable to do so for ourselves, right? So important to have a financial power of attorney. The next 3 documents that I'm going to talk about are our healthcare decisions. Now, a lot of people don't think about healthcare decisions being part of your estate planning, but absolutely it is. Healthcare surrogate, that's your medical POA. If you're in the hospital, you can't speak for yourself. Who's going to speak for you? Who's going to talk to the doctors and nurses on your behalf? That's the role of the healthcare surrogate. HIPAA authorization, someone who can see your medical charts and psychotherapy notes so that they can talk to the doctors as well. Healthcare surrogate and your HIPAA agent work hand in hand with each other. Most of the time people just name the same person as both, but you can have separate people as well. And then the last one, the big one, advance directive. Living will in some states. But what that simply is end of life decisions. Do you want to be kept alive as long as possible? Or do you just want to pass naturally, right? You don't want to leave that decision up to anyone else. Doctors, nurses, your family members, right? You want to go ahead and make that decision. It's your life, so you get to decide what way you want to pass. Hey, keep me alive as long as possible. Or, I don't want to be a burden to my family. Let me just go ahead and pass naturally. We have a pet trust. So if you have an animal, you can leave money behind to a person who's going to take care of that animal, because we know how expensive vet bills are, right? We don't want to leave our pet behind for someone and then it become a financial burden to them. So we can help them out with that. And then the revocable living trust. The best way that I describe this document, it's a holding document. It holds all of your major assets in trust so that the trust owns the assets now. And that will allow you to avoid probate. Probate is the process where when you pass away and you don't have a trust, all of your assets are frozen for a certain amount of time, anywhere from 30 days up to, I've seen it go 2-3 years. But what it simply is probate freezes all of your assets, and that gives creditors time to come in and take what's owed to them first. And then after the probate process is over, all of your assets are passed to your beneficiaries. With the probate avoidance trust, everything gets passed right away. And inside our vault, which is what I'm going to talk about next, are funding instructions that tell you how to do all of that. So those are all of the documents that you get in our $600 plan. Then there's 3 comes with. I mentioned the Life Vault, our cloud storage, where you should store all of your important documents in one safe, secure spot, right? This vault has over 100 gigabytes of data, so you should never run out of storage space. And you think about your most important documents that you want to keep in here, right? Of course, your estate planning documents, but how about tax information, right? Life insurance policies, annuities, everything that is important to your client can be stored in here for safekeeping. Of course, you're going to have your hard copies, so you can keep that in a safe at home or maybe at your bank. But it's a great way to utilize all of your important documents so that they don't get lost, or if your house floods or burns down, you lose those documents. It's always safe and secure. Spouses plan is included. So for $600, both spouses get to create their full sets of documents. And we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If your clients try it, for some reason they don't like it, that's okay. Let us know. We'll refund their money back as long as they haven't downloaded any of their documents. So that's a little introduction. I know I went fast because I want to give as much time to Virginia as I possibly can. But again, this is why we sell estate planning, protecting our assets, protecting our family, making sure that everything that we want to happen happens. We're not going to leave it up to the court systems or the doctors and nurses to make our decisions. We want to have everything prepared before something happens, right? We want to do these documents before we need to do them. That way we're safe and we're secure and we're set for the future. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Virginia on. Just a little information about Virginia. She's out of Southern California. Every time I get out to the West Coast, I always go see Virginia and her team. They are a great team, and just a big advocate of NetLaw and everything that we do here. So Virginia, let me go ahead and bring you on and take it away.
Awesome, Mark. Thank you so much for that great information. You always do a phenomenal job. I think part of why we're hooked to NetLaw is because, we've got people like you and, the rest of the girls that answer the phones. They're so attentive. They're so caring. They're so service oriented. It's unbelievable. It's really one of the things that I pride myself in when I talk about NetLaw, because I know that anybody that I refer to the program, anybody that purchases, any one of my clients or friends that really purchase the program, I know they're not going to be abandoned. And I think that's one of the most important things that most clients want to feel. They don't want to feel abandoned. And when you buy an online program or do-it-yourself forms, and yes, it's inexpensive and the cost of it does matter and it's attractive. It lures people in, right? But at the end of the day, when they're left to figure things out, what document goes where and how do you interpret this and what does this really mean? And there's no hotline to call and people aren't answering their phones and it's just frustrating and it becomes a waste of money. To be quite frank, before I even tried NetLaw, I did the Legal Zoom, I did the Legal Shield, I did all of the programs because it wasn't about money for me. I wanted to make sure that my reputation, which is one of the most important thing for myself, for my clients, would absolutely not be hindered. I wanted to make sure that, if I'm supporting a program, that my client would also be supported should they want to do it independently. And, I found that, you may find some programs that are inexpensive because you buy document per document, but how does the individual know what document to buy? Most people don't even know what is included, what should be included. Do you need this? Do you need that? How do you file these things? So it's a hot mess. And what I love about this program is from beginning to end, it is so simple. It is so client oriented. It is so do it yourself, get it done. Don't be a procrastinator, just get it done oriented, that there's no way there's no way that you'll regret buying this program, really. I'll tell you part of why my team and I use NetLaw and how it's really propelled us and our business to a completely different playing field. And I encourage each and every one of the partners or associates, or, you know, if this is your first time learning about this program, to really give yourself an opportunity to discover more. And if you discover this program and if you use it the right way, this will 10x your business. This will grow your business 10 times. You know, what you're used to. This has become a recruiting presentation for us, Mark. This is one of the main reasons why our agency constantly is growing, because they get access to you. They get access to this phenomenal program, and they get training on how to help their clients work with this. And I'll tell you, I've not only worked with agents who are in insurance and in investments and in the financial industry as a whole, but I've worked with a lot of accountants. I've worked with a lot of CPAs. I've worked with a lot of attorneys who don't want to go through the nitty gritty, and they're literally using this program, but they're charging up a storm and taking credit for all the things that are being done here. It's crazy, right? I've worked with real estate agents, and I've worked with brokers, and you may think, well, what the heck do they have to do with this program? And, you know, that just kind of goes back to my own background a little bit. So I just saw a perfect fit, because before I got into the financial industry, you know, I was invested in real estate. I had a real estate background. I was a loan officer, an agent, and you name it. I flipped it, I modified it, I did it. And then I also worked as a paralegal at a law firm where the attorney that I worked for did estate planning. So when I first saw this program and I saw the price ticket, I was like, no way. Is this like $600 broken into 3 payments, 4 payments, 5 payments? When is the next $600 or $500 at that time going to come along? And when I found out that was it, I was like, what's wrong with this program? Why is it so inexpensive? So when I went through it and I did it for myself, my own family's trust is with NetLaw. And I did it for myself. I did it for my father-in-law. I did it for our family. It was so detailed. I was really blown away. Again, you don't have to be a paralegal. You don't have to have real estate experience for you to be able to understand the value of this product. But because I had that experience in my background, I was literally blown away as to the detail oriented in this program, and attention to service that was oriented, and just so much assistance to make sure that, again, you don't just buy it and you abandon it, right? So important. So I started thinking about, well, how can I use this simple system, because that's exactly what it is. It's a very simple system to be able to help my teammates grow. Because it's one thing for me to do it. It's completely different for me to be able to duplicate the process for my team to grow, for them to become productive, for them to be able to offer this product easily, comfortably, without being afraid. Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? And, you know, I decided to commit because, again, I'm going to go back to the service, Mark. Doesn't matter when I call you, you always answer the phone. That for me is a big deal. Now, that doesn't say call him on Sunday afternoon, right? But give the man a little bit of time to enjoy his family too. But it just goes to say that your dedication and your commitment to providing that service, to make sure that every person is equipped to know what to do, how to do, is pretty important, is very important. So I decided to look at this, and I decided to say, okay, who are the people that need this? First of all, everyone, right? Doesn't matter they have a home or not, doesn't matter they're married or not. To me, everybody needs this package, because your life changes. And if you could set up your foundation, the fundamentals of your financial life, to be able to support what you're building, and your foundation is solid, anything that you build on that foundation is going to be solid. You see, one of the things that I figured out in the past 20 years of being in the financial industry is people are sold products, and people, unfortunately, are sold tools. They're not sold the experience. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about the experience. And I'll tell you, Mark, one of the biggest things that I talk about when it comes to people and trust, I don't talk about death. That's pretty depressing. I don't talk about, hey, if you get sick and you can't move and you're in a coma, what's going to happen to your money? Nobody wants to think about that, right? Yeah. So I ask them relevant questions. I ask them questions like, hey, are your financial puzzle pieces all together? Have you identified what these pieces are? Because a lot of times we'll build assets. Nobody needs to teach us that. If you're driven, if you know that you want to make money, you want to grow financially in this land of opportunity, you can. So nobody really needs to teach us how to create the wealth. That's why you're here. That's why you're part of this call. You want to do it yourself. You want to be able to, drive after that, right? But isn't it interesting? you are, creating your wealth one way or another, good, bad, ugly, you're still after it, but nobody really ever teaches us how to protect our wealth. And if you look at how much money is wasted, there's over $58 billion sitting with a state of unclaimed assets. This is life insurance. This is bank accounts. This is, this is assets that you forgot about. This is assets that maybe your friends or your parents have forgotten about, right? And it just goes to the state. So when we're not taught how to protect it, we're not taught how to organize it, a lot of it gets left behind. And unfortunately, everything that we fight so hard to create, unfortunately, doesn't end up with our with our friends or with our family, right? So number one reason why I choose to use this product is to remain relevant in my client's life. If you're in the financial industry, if you're in any industry today with COVID, with all the craziness that's happening and all the craziness that's going to happen, it's absolutely imperative that you and I stay relevant in our client's life. What is your relevant, what does it mean to be relevant in your client's life? You never want your client to buy and forget. You always want to be able to interact, because your client can bring you more clients, especially if they're happy, right? Especially if they're glad to have you in their life. So I always wanted to create an opportunity where I would be the go-to source for my client. Even if I don't do that specific area, or even if I can't help them, I wanted my clients to think of me as their go-to source. So that way, anytime any financial question comes up, I am called. And here's what happened. Knowing that, I started talking to a lot of real estate agents. And yes, some of you guys know this, some of you may not, but here in California, real estate is ridiculous. If you want to buy a little chicken house that's broken down, it's about $1 million, okay? And you probably have to spend another $300,000-$400,000 just to make it decent for you to live. But properties are going crazy. Now, is everybody selling properties? No. 80% of the real estate agents, unfortunately, are not selling real estate the way they thought they would. But the other 20% is selling real estate. So if you look at this product, I came from real estate. One of the things that I always wanted to do was I always gave them a closing gift. What's a closing gift? When the real estate agent or the loan officer makes a chunk of commission from the sale of the house or the refi of the house, generally, it's kind of like an unspoken rule, but it is a rule. The client receives some sort of a closing gift, right? And at the time, I always bought plants. I always bought, I don't know, like a keychain, right? So that way they could have my home, something sentimental. But they'd either lose the keychains at times, or the flower or the plant would die, and that never worked out. They stopped remembering me, right? So when I came across this plant, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant because Mark talked about it, right? Think about all the documents that you get in your will. You have to name an executor, right? You have to name a primary executor, and then you have to name a contingent, the secondary executor. You got to name a guardian, the first one and the second one, or you can have multiple, right? You have beneficiaries that you could name. You have trustees. You've got successor trustees. You've got financial power of attorney, the first one, the second one, healthcare directives. So literally in these documents, most people will end up naming 5 to 10 people. Some names would repeat, some will be different. 5 to 10 people that are important to them, who they would want to have access to their most intimate legal documents that talk about what they've created and where it's going. Don't you think these people would probably be interested in a phenomenal package like this at the price ticket and at the value that they have? Absolutely. So you know what I do? Every single time I help them go through that package, I make sure that they put the email addresses, the phone numbers of the individuals that are closest to them. What does that do? When they click yes, send them, and I always advocate for them to click yes, send them an email, they get an email that talks about who NetLaw is. And I tell them, if nothing else, let them keep that email, because if anything happens to you, that's the company they need to go to. That's where they'll be verified before all of these documents are released to them as that important person, whatever you've appointed them, right? So that in it itself creates automatically 5 referrals. And it's incredible, because if those people are referred through this initial program that my first client bought, guess what? If they click, they like it, they buy it, I don't even have to see the client. I just made money again. So it helps my new agent, it helps my new associate start up without even thinking about, you know, how do I sell? It sells itself. And then all you have to do is just follow up with the consumer to make sure, hey, do you need any help? Here's how we can help you. We can help you by setting up an appointment with NetLaw. We can help you by, you know, maybe helping you walk through the process a little bit. And if you have questions, you let us know. People like that. And here's what happens when you help them through the process. Don't do it if this is the first time you're doing it. Help, you know, you have the help that you need from Mark and from the team. But if you go through the process, I love it. This program has me in mind. All the questions that are listed in the program, it fits the puzzle pieces that I always talk about. So this is a trust that helps you manage your affairs when you're alive, and it helps you manage your affairs when you're gone. It makes sure that all the things that you've created in your life, all the things that are important in your life, go to the people that are most important in your life. And here's what happens. Do they know what to do with these things? No. So let me introduce myself to them. And if they ever need help, I'm here. Again, referrals. When we go through the will and we go through the trust, part of the questions that NetLaw has assembled are questions that talk about, hey, is your estate, you're putting your legal tools together. That's what we call this package, your legal tools. But are your financial tools put together? What does that mean? Well, you've got a bunch of documents that say, if anything happens to me, my trustee is my brother, and he steps in to take care of all these things. Does your brother have enough money to take care of his life and to take care of your headache? You just dump them a bunch of responsibilities, and if they're not able to take care of it, guess what? They just may end up selling the house to have enough money to take care of your kids. And all of a sudden, that house that you left in your will to your kids, for them to get it when they're 20 or 30 or whatever you designate, the no longer will happen because you don't have a house. Why? Because we didn't protect what we create. So these legal tools, Mark, help our team be able to get an opportunity to leap, forward and talk about the rest of their financial life. And because it opens them up to, holy moly, I don't have a long-term care plan. Do I have proper coverage for my life insurance? Are my kids going to be set? What about the college? What about investments? What about retirement funds? What about an emergency fund? What if I'm in a hospital and I'm in a coma for a month? What's going to happen to my assets? Who has access to it? So when you bring up these questions, which are all embedded in the program, and if the client asks or answers, yes, I'd like to learn more, guess what happens? All of a sudden, the agent gets an email, gets a text message that says, Virginia, your client answered yes to this question. Here's the number, here's the email, call them and follow up. Mark, that's created opportunities for our team where they no longer have to ask you, do you have life insurance? Do you have long-term care? Is your estate plan in place? Is your retirement plan in place? Do you have enough? We don't have to ask those questions. The puzzle falls together when you put the program together. So this helps all people. If you have anybody that you know of that deals with clients, trust me, the number one thing that they want is they want to stay relevant with their client. This is a great tool to have. Why? Because anytime they need to change things, unfortunately, most clients don't remember they can call NetLaw or they can go through that. They call you. And that's fortunate, not unfortunate, because they call you and then you can be part of their life again. What's happening? Touch base with them again, right? It's that constant flow of connecting. And I think today, in a world that we live in today, where, world of injustice, world of chaos, world of craziness, being relevant and staying connected is one of the most important things that we can do in our client's life, in the financial industry today. So relevant to clients, constant referrals, whether it's through the program or through the clients itself. The puzzle pieces fall together. Their families have no idea where their life insurance policy is. And I always tell them, there is no program, there's no online software you can Google and you can put your name and all of a sudden you know where your mom and dad have their, bank information, right? Where do they have a checking account? I had a client here just this Monday, and they brought over a trust. I always tell them, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to give you advice. I can't give you advice. All I can do is tell you about this program. And if you feel like it's a fit, do it. These clients were trying to update their trusts for about 1.5 years, and they kept calling. They kept following up. And then they went down to the office of the attorney, and all of a sudden his daughter met them and said, I'm sorry, my dad died a few months ago. Well, can you imagine if they just left it as that? Their daughter had never been updated, their trust had never been updated for their daughter, who's now 18, to be part of that program. The people who were named as trustees originally, they no longer have a relationship with, they no longer talk to each other. Can you imagine if these guys never went back, never went constantly follow up with that attorney who had passed away, and something happened to them? They would have had somebody in charge who they don't care for anymore, who they no longer have a relationship with anymore, and half their kids are not even included in the plan. So this is a great way to constantly upkeep and help them better understand what they can do with this program. It gives you an opportunity to do an inventory, and that's a big hit with clients. And when I talk about there is no system that they can find out where all your life insurance policies are, where all your statements are, where all your assets are, this is one of the best ways that they upkeep all of that, right? So inventory, being organized, constant accountability. What I love about the $8 a month, and I tell them, I think you know, the $8 a month isn't, you know, as the value isn't for me in terms of necessarily in updating your documents per se, because nobody really updates their documents too often unless they have a big life-changing event. But you know what? The $8 a month keeps them updated on all changes. On all changes. So think about it. If there are laws that are changing, if there are any updates, you're going to know because you're part of that plan. You're going to have an opportunity when you change your bank accounts, when you change your life insurance policy, when you change your assets. You can update these documents at a click where your family will know everything. Again, don't be part of that, you know, $58 billion that's sitting with the state. Talk about a financial foundation and talk about how to protect what you create. So, you know, I mean, I can literally sit here and talk to you about this program on and on and on. And every single time I train one of my associates to be in an appointment so that way they can see what this program is and how I talk about it, not only do they walk away with wow, they walk away buying it also. So, you know, you can absolutely reach out. This is a great tool for cold market. This is a great tool for warm market. This is a great tool for all markets. This is a fantastic tool for referral. And I'll tell you, once you really dive in and you understand the program, you're going to understand how valuable this is. Mark, today I'm in about 30 states. And I've had the privilege to work with NetLaw in all these states. And I'll tell you, I see big differences in the questions that it asks for all those people who are in California versus Kentucky versus North Carolina, New York, you know, no matter where you are. So it's state specific. It's family specific. It's oriented to make sure that it's person specific, whether it's a single trust, whether it's a joint trust, whatever it is, you don't have to worry about the legal aspects of what are the laws in that state. It's already taken care of. It's absolutely already taken care of. So I love the Life Vault. To this day, I did my trust years ago with you when you first came out and into our office. And to this day, I still have the $8 a month because it's absolutely relevant. My life changes all the time. I want to make sure that I've got a secure vault that I can access anytime, anywhere, and update absolutely everything that I need. Because my life's always changing, you know, and my kid's life is changing too. So I need to make sure that everything stays relevant and stays organized. So I don't know if I covered what you wanted me to cover, but I'll tell you, if you're not part of this platform, to sell this program or to offer this program, I should say, it sells itself really, to offer this program to your consumer, to your prospects, you know, it's a shame. Everybody needs this. You've got kids in college, you need it. Did you know that if something happens and, you know, there's chaos in schools, unless they've got your updated, you know, advanced directives and HIPAA authorization, they will not talk to you. They won't tell you where your kids are. Isn't that crazy? And you need that every single year. So to have access to something like this, are you kidding me? We pay more than $8 a day for a latte in you know, let alone $8 a month. It's a no-brainer. Elderly need this. Young and old need this. You're a homeowner, you need this. You're not a homeowner, you've got kids, you need this. You're thinking about having kids, you need this. You're thinking about getting into a relationship, you need this. You're divorced, you need this. You're thinking about getting divorced, you need this. It's so important, absolutely so important, that we protect what we work so hard to create. And again, attention is in detail. And I can't even tell you how many times I've seen people bring their trust, and I'll tell them, I'm not an attorney. I can't give you advice. I don't know what you want me to look at. And they'll ask me, Virginia, I just want you to see, are the documents going to be like this? And I look at it and the paper's crumbled and it's not even organized and it's not even put together. And, you know, half of it is missing. And I ask them, I said, where's the rest? They go, I thought this was it. Can you imagine? They don't even have full documents. Even if you lose all your documents that you create with us, we upload it. So no matter when, no matter what, you can have access to the paperwork, even if your house burns down, like so many did in California recently, right? Even if you lose everything, you don't lose any of your documents. So I think this is an incredible program, and I think anybody in the financial industry who wants to grow, who wants to stay relevant, and who wants to dominate, this is the perfect storm. This is the perfect program with integrity, with honesty, with, you know, everything up front. You see it, you get what you see. And you know, this is, I love that because it's dependable. It's something that I know is backing me up in the field, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about the documents not being there or things disappearing, or, you know, it's an incredible opportunity to partner up with, to be able to build your business to a whole new level. So you will get referrals, you will get opportunities. Just get to know it, you know, buy it for yourself, test it on your own skin. You can't offer something to someone you don't believe in and you don't understand. So get involved with it. And Mark, if there's anything that I can do to help the field to learn more about it, you just let me know.
Absolutely. Virginia, thank you so much. That was a excellent presentation. I really appreciate everything that you said. I've even took down some notes for when I do extra agent trainings. I think the, you know, a couple of things that you mentioned that I wanted to bring back up is, you know, this is available for everybody. I like the way that you said that. It doesn't matter who you are, you need this program. And it's a door opener. You know, you led into the, you know, the getting more referrals back. And, you know, maybe it's a life insurance referral, or maybe it's just someone who calls you back up and says, hey, I love the NetLaw program, but, you know, my brother, he doesn't have his will. Please contact him. Here's all of his information. I always thought that was the best part about NetLaw, is how we help give back to our agents with referrals and help to build their portfolio with new clients. So everything that you said was spot on. And I just love your enthusiasm for the product. Just, we can hear.
You know why I'm enthusiastic over the product, Mark? I'll say this, and I hope, you know, people get it, you know, as they listen to this. Somebody starting up in business, even in life insurance sales. First of all, it's a great industry to be in, but a lot of times when people start, they get their foot stuck in their mouth, right? They don't know how to talk about it because they talk about dying. That doesn't motivate anybody. But, you know, when it comes to talking about protecting what you build, that's such a noble thing to talk about. You're talking about, hey, you work so hard for what you've created. I value, you know, your opinion. I think what you've done is great. It's grand. I'd love to learn from some of the strategies that you've put together to create this wonderful thing. Have you protected it with a trust? Have you gotten to that yet? And when they say, no, not yet, we say, you know what, let me refer you to a great program. It's just information, learn from it. And if you want to learn a little bit more, I'll do a small presentation for you. But this is like the bow, you tie things up. And I'll tell you, when you come from there, and when you're talking about protecting what you create, right? In essence, we're going to go through the whole thing all over again. But when you're talking about protecting what you create, it's such a noble idea that you care about what I've created. You care about my kids' future. You care about, you know, my family sticking with what we've built, right? It's not you trying to sell me something. You're helping me keep what I've created, and you're helping me keep more of it. So that conversation, I can't even begin to tell you how many people, literally, when we do a NetLaw presentation in our office, we always send out referral sheet. Every sheet comes back packed. Yeah. We always have referral sheets filled out, they send it out to us, and we always say, hey, do you know anybody that owns a home? Do you know anybody who has children? Do you know anybody who takes care of their elderly? Do you know anybody who lives in a sandwich generation where they got to take multiple generations, right? Are they protected? Is that asset protected? Do they know even how to protect that? So when they fill that out and we call them, we say, hey, this is, so-and-so, and we were referred by so-and-so, and they said that you've got a beautiful family and a beautiful house that you may be interested in protecting by learning more about trust and will. Don't worry, this is not a sales call. We just want to send some information to you as a, appreciation from this person. And they are just so blown away. And those people always come back to us. And when they always come back to us, you know what they ask, Mark? What else do you do?
Right.
How else can you help us?
Exactly.
No, I've got these other things here. And automatically, because of the vault, they bring their life insurance policies. They bring their estate, the rest of the things that they have. And they'll ask you, Virginia, since you're helping me with this, can you see if we can get a better deal on our insurance policy? Can you see if you can? I'll tell you, we don't make as much money on selling this product because it's only $600. How much money can you make, right? But really what we do make money in is the back end, is being able to help them with the rest of it. And I'll tell you, we've got agents that are walking out with each family that we help this trust with, $5,000 to $10,000. That's what they make. Each product, each estate plan. So you think about that for a second. Sky's the limit. This gives you access to unlimited opportunities. Whether we use it, whether we're active in it or not, it's completely up to us. But this is a phenomenal product that can get you started, or it could, again, take your business to a 10x.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we put the referrals in there. And that's why we ask the marketing questions so that we can give back to our agents. We appreciate everyone who sells a NetLaw plan. How do we give back to that? By the referrals that come back to them. And then what does that do? That makes them want to go out and sell more NetLaw, right? So they get more referrals back. And it's just, it's just such a wonderful product. And I'm glad that you were able to take time out of your day to talk to everybody about how you sell it, why you sell it. I think this was just a wonderful presentation. And again, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your team and everything that you've done for NetLaw.
Same here, Mark. Thank you so much for everything that you continue to do. And thank you so much for always thinking of us. We really appreciate it. I know every time an idea comes up, you and my team and especially Yervan, you're always thinking about what can you do to help the field out. And the fact that you guys had a buy one, get one free for a couple of months through this COVID to help people in their situation, it was just phenomenal. So you care about our community, and that's why we're dedicated to support the program. I think it's something that is essential to all citizens of the United States. It's part of the essential package, it should be, and we ought to know more about it. So thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for your continued support and continued efforts.
Yeah, thank you, Virginia. And if you have time, stick around. I'm going to answer some chats and some Q&A. I don't know if there's some in here that maybe they want your answer on, but if you've got another 15 minutes, if you want to hang on, I'm going to run through these chats real quick.
You got it.
And just answer those. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So let's go to the first one. Sagar asks, I know you can do spouse's will and trust. How do you add that? Simple. You just, when you're in your NetLaw plan, Sagar, you just go to the Smart Guide tab, and about a fourth of the way down the page on the right, you'll see a little drop-down box that says Document 4. You'll click that, click your spouse's name, and the system will reset to his or her documents, and you just start filling out their documents just like you did yours. Davis asks, how much is the children's trust? It's included in the $600. Jack asks, is 100 gigabytes of the storage for everyone? It's for a plan. So husband and wife both share in the 100 gigabytes of storage. Good question. Also, my colleagues are saying no attorneys are assigned. And that's correct. The attorneys have already done the work. They've created the templates. This is a DIY product. So the client would run through it, the system asks a question and you simply ask it. Off to the right-hand side, there are frequently asked questions. And like Virginia said, you can always call us. We're here to help you with any questions that you may have about the program. But a lot of times nobody calls in because the software is set up so customer friendly that when it's asking you the questions, you understand the questions. It's not, you know, it's not talking in lawyer talk, as I like to say. It's just a simple question and you can answer it. But
Mark, can I add something to that too?
sure.
I've had cases where clients have wanted something specific that wasn't in the language. And when we called you and you said, no, it's not in the language, we need to get an attorney. There are a lot of attorneys on the panel and we've been able to contact on several occasions these attorneys, and for a very nominal fee. I think they were charging like maybe $100. Now it's not going to be $100 for everything, but for $100 they were able to overlook all the documents to make sure that the client did everything right. And that's all it took. So if they really want an attorney to put an eye on it to make sure that they haven't missed anything, I think for an extra $100, it's nothing. So you still have, you know, the access to attorneys on the panel. If you really want some help or if you want something specific, you can ask them, find out how much it is. And if it's worth doing it, do it. If not, then don't.
Yeah. And you can always call us as well.
Yeah.
You know, so feel free to call us. Yes. And we do have the attorney network. But of course, we always say, please call us first, because 90% of what you're looking for, we can answer. So, but it is always great to have the attorneys there just so that you know, and there are some people that says, I just want to hear it from an attorney, and we get that. That's why they're there. Let's go to the next one here. Do we have the buy one, get one free offer now? Actually, we do, starting October 1st, which is today.
Nice.
You will be getting a email sent out after this webinar, and look for the special presentation. There is a special promotion that we are doing for all agents. The BOGO goes on, but we are having a special promotion. I'll tell you about it, and then later on today, you will be receiving an email about this. If you sell 5 fully funded plans, so that's either the $600 plan or any of our other plans, if you sell 5 of those, in the month of November, the client who actually buys the program gets buy one, get 2 free. So again, BOGO goes on all month. But if you're an agent who can sell 5 of these plans this month, anything that you sell in November is buy one, get 2 free. So look for that advertisement. It will be going out right away. Pat Burrow, hey Pat, has a question, and I think I'll let Virginia answer this because she actually mentioned a little bit about this. And Virginia, how do you go about reaching out to a code market?
Oh my goodness, that's easy. So here's, I mean, it really depends on who you, what's your method of cold market. In cold market, we've got agents who like to do, you know, door-to-door visiting business owners. That's a great way of talking about, have you put your estate plan together? And most business owners are just today, because of COVID and everything else, are just thinking about surviving, and their stress level is so high that it's really an easy conversation to be able to have. But you know, we also do once a month minimum, Mark, we'll do an estate planning workshop. We'll do a free estate planning workshop, and we'll go out there and we'll tell all of our friends, all of our family, hey, you need this. I know you have one. You may not have updated it. There are some changes that are coming up. Come watch, it's free. So we do a 45-minute workshop, and we make sure that we invite a bunch of people before we do. And I'll tell you, our workshops usually have somewhere around, I don't know, 70 to over 100 guests coming in every single time. And we have one coming up next week, by the way. Perfect. So we also have one where, like, you know, a lot of people are busy on social media today. There's a lot of noise. So we try to give good news, good noise, instead of all the BS that's, you know, out there. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we talk about, hey, if you have a family, we're having a free estate plan why don't you come and hear about guardianship? So, there are a lot of people that, there are a lot of groups online today, right? There's on social media, there's group for moms, there's a group for dads, there are groups for real estate agents, there are groups for accountants, CPAs, and these are all people that are, professionals in their field. And all you got to do is, if you join that group, you just mention that, we're going to have a free educational, non-solicitous workshop. And this is great to have buy one, get one free, because people will go all over this. So we just market it like that. We don't pay for ads. The information is so good that people come. And, not only do they come, but when we follow up with them, they often ask, hey, can you do this for my agency? So we've had a lot of people that come in as agents, like real estate agents, or again, CPAs or accountants, and they'll say, hey, I'm doing this. Can you do this for our agents? Can you educate them on estate planning? Maybe their clients need it. So every time we do that, we always have like 10, 15 people that are coming in that have access to other groups that act as a cluster that just kind of revamps the whole thing and just blows up, right? So I want you to think about, when it comes to cold market, instead of thinking about one person at a time, who can you connect to that's connected to other people? And if you can invite that person to come and see, they're going to take that information and they're going to spread it to their own group, churches, organizations. Like literally, Mark, I can send you this, but I think you have it. I created a special memory jogger for estate planning. And if you want, I can email it to you and you can post it. Maybe you can send it out to your agents if you want. Sure. And this is basically, if you really want to go after the cold market, you got to be organized. You got to put a list together of who are these people that you're going after, right? And the memory jogger starts to remind you of like 100 people that you forgot you knew, that they have also access to other people. So it just reminds you of who's a great candidate to hear about this, to listen to this. And if they are, then you invite them, you do a quick, workshop. And Mark, if you remember in the beginning, we asked you to fly in so many times to be able to do the workshop for us, right? Right. And then we learned it, and then we started doing it ourselves. But I know you'd love to do that too. So if you guys have it, put a Zoom call together, organize it, ask Mark to come and to talk about it. You don't have to be the expert. He can answer your questions. And I think it's just a great spin-off, and it'll give you endless array of referrals. I hope I answered that.
No, you absolutely did. That was a perfect answer. And I think Pat now has some great ideas to go after. So she should be selling here very quickly. Thank you. Venkat has a question about funding the trust. He's asking about, do you need to go see an attorney? You don't need to go see an attorney to fund the trust. Simply, there are funding instructions in the vault, so you can print those out. But simply, it's just a matter of going down to the county clerk's office and doing a deed transfer, taking the deed of the house out of your name and placing it into the name of the trust. And we do have, if you go out to netlawinc.com, our homepage, at the bottom there, or at the top, I'm sorry, there is a link to deed services, and they will do the deed service for you. I believe it's like $200 per deed, so not very expensive at all. So again, just go to our homepage, netlawinc.com, and click on the deed services, and there's a couple companies that can help you out there.
Mark, can I also add something to that? One of the things that you can do, again, going back to that cold market and prospect specifically for the funding of the trust, there are a lot of escrow companies, title companies, loan officers, people in real estate that would love to partner up with you. And you ask them, hey, or notary publics, they can do these things, right? And if you ask them, hey, this is what I'm doing, do you want to partner up? And if I have a case, I'll give it to you. How much would you charge for it? So they'll charge anywhere from typically maybe $100 to, I don't know, whatever their fee is, $200. But that money's going to go to them anyways. It's going to go to somebody else anyways. Why not partner up with that individual? So that way, when they are doing a loan signing for somebody else, they have you in mind, and they talk about, hey, have you heard of estate planning? And then they'll refer you. You guys can work together. Maybe they can become part of the NetLaw family too, and they'll have access to making even extra money, but they'll pass on the information to you. So I think partnership is such an important thing. Don't be afraid of reaching out and talking to people. Because if you do, you'll find notary publics who can do that for you. You'll find real estate agents who can do that for you. You'll find escrow officers who can do that for you. And if you partner up in being able to help, they deal with people who buy homes all the time. That's the number one reason people need a trust and a will, to avoid that asset from probate. So if they can do that, besides going to the county clerk's office or, attaining somebody from the network itself, that's a huge opportunity to, again, expand and make more money and draw more people.
Yeah, and just adding to that, I do work with an agent very closely who works with real estate agents. And what she does is she creates a flyer, and it goes in a little basket every time the agent sells a house. So that welcome basket, just like you were talking about earlier, Virginia, in that welcome basket, her flyers in there and her business cards in there about putting the house into the trust.
Yep.
Every time.
Easy breezy.
Yeah, it is. So we're almost out of time, and we've got a lot more to get through. What I'll probably do is I'll answer all the Q&As later, because those will go right back to your emails. I'm going to run through these as fast as I can for the chats. If not, please come back next week, and we'll have another speaker that will give his philosophies on how he sells NetLaw. Come back. But I put our phone number and email address up on the screen. So if I didn't get a chance to get to your question, please email us, give us a call. We have the chat ability available as well. Those are the fastest ways to get a hold of us, chat and email. But please reach back out to us if I don't answer your question. I want to get to all of them, but we only have an hour. I need to be respectful of everybody's time. And again, I just want to say before we get off here, thank you again to Virginia for taking her time out. What a wonderful presentation. And I hope a lot of people learned, new avenues to take when you're talking about estate planning, and when you're thinking about, well, how do I take care of this situation? It's NetLaw, right? It's NetLaw with the estate planning. So again, thank you, Virginia. I appreciate you so much and your team, like I said. And if anybody needs to reach out to us again, please go ahead, give us a call, email us, or use the chat function. We'd love to answer your calls. But I'll go ahead and end this today, and I will see everyone next week with a new speaker and some new ideas. So again, thank you everyone for taking time out of your day. I know it's early in the morning for some of you, so I appreciate you getting up early to listen to this great webinar. This is recorded, so if anybody wants a copy of the webinar, please email me, and I will make sure that you get a copy of that presentation. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see everybody next week. Have a great day.
Thanks, Mark.